Hey, what's up, guys? It's Rob from Reeves Avenue. I hope you guys are all enjoying your 3-day weekend. If you are in the United States, it is Memorial Day, so I just want to say thank you guys out there. If there's any of you serving in the armed forces, I just want to say thank you for your time, your sacrifice, and if you know anybody who is currently serving or has served, make sure to reach out to them, and to thank them for their service. It's been a crazy 3-day weekend for myself. I had a wedding to go to early on in the weekend. Then Darren and I covered FanimeCon 2019 in San Jose, California. It was our first press event for covering for this channel and my first convention. Darren's been to a ton of conventions, and Darren goes to Comic-Con every year. So he's seen a lot of crazy stuff. But both Darren and I together covering for Heroes Avenue, that was our first time. So it was really cool, really special event for us. So check it out. I made an event vlog. I'm gonna link it up here, and check it out. Yeah, I think it's, we want to do more of these press events and more events and vlogs that cover some of these topics outside of just superhero news. So I think you guys would really be interested. Make sure to check it out, give it a like, and let us know what you think. And with that being said, we're going to talk about two things that are very noteworthy today. We're going to talk about Aquaman. That one's a funny one. And then we're going to talk about some potential Batman rumors that are going on. And make sure, we definitely want to get your input on it. I'll give you guys what I think about it. But first, let's talk about Aquaman. So this Aquaman movie I saw 4 times now. So 4 times in total I've seen this movie. And some of you guys, from what you've commented on in the past, you guys have probably seen it more than me now. And a fan has caught an interesting error that I have not even caught in my 4 times of seeing it. And to be honest, I'm not one of those guys who's nitpicking in every scene to see the errors. But you guys with eagle eyes might be better than me at that. And maybe you guys have spotted this, but never really cared for it or cared to share that on the internet. But check this out, guys. So in the first, 10 or 15 minutes, the first scene where Queen Atlanna is explaining to young Arthur Curry the story and his history about the Trident and uniting the people. Of course, several times in this movie you hear the random explosion in the background to have the action, have an action scene commence. And in this very first one, it was a badass fight sequence that kind of set the tone for the movie with Queen Atlanna taking out some of her guards. But what a lot of people didn't catch is the young Arthur Curry kid. There was a kid that was swapped out in the middle of the scene, and I'm assuming it's because they wanted to use a stunt double for the kid, the young Arthur Curry kid. So if you're looking here, I'm putting the picture up. You can see in this first scene right here. I'm not going to play the movie because I don't want to get in trouble with all the YouTube rights issues. But you can see young Arthur Curry right before the explosion happens. And then right after the explosion happens, you can see right here in the split second, there is there's a kid with super long hair and totally different hair type being tossed over to Arthur Curry's father. So you could see that was definitely a blunder. Now, I haven't gone back to check, but this hair is noticeably longer, and it's actually pretty hilarious when looking at it now and just pausing and seeing the clips side by side. You could definitely tell it was a stunt kid. It's a bigger kid for sure, so it makes sense. They probably used a practical effect for this scene right here, and it's something that I didn't catch because your attention normally goes to Queen Atlanna in this scene, and that's what my attention was at during my viewings of the movie. But it was just one of those things that I know some people get really pissed off about some of the mistakes that are made in these scenes. Most notably, I know this is not movie related here, but most notably there's the Game of Thrones fiasco, right? So not only are people already upset with Game of Thrones, the ending and how it ended and how rushed the narrative felt, but there was I'm sure you guys have seen the meme on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, probably talking about it. You've seen the scene where Daenerys is in the episode 2 or 4, where Daenerys is sitting down at the table, and you could see a coffee cup right there sitting on the table, and it looks and a lot of people created a ton of memes to kind of make fun of the scene, and HBO erased that coffee cup from the scene, I think the very next day. So it was a swift reaction to it. It was crazy. and it was actually pretty funny. But for Game of Thrones being one of my favorite shows, it was hard to see so much backlash and outrage, and also jokes made towards my favorite TV show. And they also did it in the very last episode of the season, where you could see a water bottle behind one of the actors' foot. So it was embarrassing, and these type of things are embarrassing. But I just want to let you guys know, you may see people make fun of this online, but this happens in Hollywood so many times. And not only just the most recent memory, not even just the most recent superhero movies. This happens all throughout Hollywood. So some of the biggest notable mistakes you could see in you can see in things like the Dark Knight trilogy, Christopher Nolan, where in The Dark Knight Rises, where the militia is starting to form. You see a guy come out of the subway station, and the actor realizes he's walking into a shoot. Or or the time where in The Winter Soldier, the bus that Captain America gets flung into shows no notable damage when the bus flips over. So there's a lot of instances where these mistakes have happened, and they largely go unnoticed, because if you're like me, you are like sucked into the action, not really nitpicking for that type of stuff. But it is really pretty funny. And my question to you guys is, what is, or if there is any, have you ever caught a mistake right there on your first viewing? Have you caught a mistake in one of these superhero movies or any Hollywood movie? Have you caught a mistake right then and there? Are you that eagle-eyed that you were able to catch it? And if you're one of those people, what is the biggest and funniest mistake that you've seen on the movie screen in regards to superhero movies? I'd like to know what your input is, because I'm not one of those guys who ever catches these mistakes. So that was the first story. I thought it was pretty hilarious, actually. I wasn't even gonna click on the story at first, but I was kind of glad I did, because it's actually pretty funny. The difference between these two kids. Okay. Now let's go ahead and move on to talking about Batman. And of course, this Batman thing is a very hot topic. The whole fact that Robert Pattinson still it's still uncertain whether or not he's Batman. He's really hush hush on it. Jim Lee, if you follow him on Instagram, Jim Lee, he posted something on Instagram like, going on a plane ride, do I have all the essentials? He has all these things, and then he could see on his iPad, it clearly has his Robert Pattinson's name right there. And I'm like, is he trying to hint at something? But you can't really tell what the context is for that. So I'm really wondering, if he is going to play the Dark Knight. But that's not what we're talking about today. So this next story is from this website that we've been talking about a lot. We got this covered. So they've been doing a lot of rumors, because they apparently have a source with Warner Brothers. And this article that they put out was saying that Matt Reeves, the Batman, is no longer a DCEU prequel. And to me, that's something that I wasn't really surprised about. I never thought that Matt Reeves was going out there to tie in a young Batman movie to the present day. I thought he was going to go in there, make his own script, make his own story, and he didn't want to be constrained to what was going on in present day DCEU. And of course, there's probably going to be little things that tie in here and there. The fact that Penguin is the main villain, kind of can call back to, it can kind of tie into Justice League and what Ben Affleck said there. But for the most part, I never viewed this movie as a prequel. I viewed it as a movie that Matt Reeves can have kind of a blank slate, something that he could create with no strings attached, right? So, virtually no strings attached. So what this article is trying to say is that all ties to the Snyder Batman is going to be gone. Again, something that didn't really surprise me. I as a fan, and me following news, is kind of, I thought that was very apparent already. But I guess something that's going to be a talking point is that fact that they're probably looking to recast the role of Alfred and Jim Gordon. Now that's very, very, that's very sad news for me, because I thought Jeremy Irons was a great Alfred. And a great new take on Alfred. And I also thought, J.K. Simmons was an excellent Jim Gordon, who we didn't get to see fleshed out a little bit more. I thought he would have been a great Commissioner Gordon, just him being the talented actor he is, both Jeremy Irons and J.K. Simmons. So that's a little upsetting, but for me, I've kind of already braced for that fact. And I think most fans of the DCEU probably felt that they were going to be recast, since it was 20 years prior to the current universe anyways. So that wasn't, I'm sure this headline will kind of cause some outrage, but I think there's nothing to be outraged about with this news. But there's actually another article from them. This titled this, or is headlined this: the Batman may be the start of an entire Gotham cinematic universe. Again, this may excite some people, but to me, this was kind of something that seemed very apparent. So I'm not going to go into the article too much right here, but of course, and I already kind of assumed what this article was going to say, and it was correct. And that being, if this movie is done well and the fans respond well to it, critics respond well to it, this could be a start of a new universe that Matt Reeves gets to flesh out throughout a trilogy. Or maybe more of movies, and that's probably why he has multiple villains in this first movie, to kind of set up a thread that he can take where he wants, if he chooses to use those villains in the future. So he wants to flesh out a whole universe, Gotham universe, for us. Gotham is such a rich place to start because of, Batman has probably the greatest rogues gallery in all of comics, and that next to Spider-Man. But yes, there's so much to play with there, and the Bat family, there's so much to play with there, that WB would be smart to do this. Now, the article also goes on to say that, hey, you know what? Maybe later on they can link things up, but that's not on the forefront of WB's mind. Maybe, a future Justice League movie is not necessarily on the forefront of WB's mind. So if down the road they want to do another Justice League movie, they can start laying and planting the seeds later on in this universe, and that makes total sense to me. So that's something that seemed very apparent to me, but if it wasn't to you, I hope this news excites you, because of course we all want to see the Batman done well. We all want to see the Bat family appear on screen. So again, it's gonna, that Nightwing movie that Chris McKay is supposed to be directing, hopefully it comes out of whatever oblivion that it went to, and it comes out to the forefront again, because I know Chris McKay was super excited to do a Nightwing movie. And again, we're gonna have we have Batgirl on TV. They're talking about potentially having a Batgirl movie. So again, not that I'm asking for that right now or anything. I want to see it done well and fleshed out organically. But yeah, so that's two interesting things about the Batman that's going on right now, just to keep you guys content with So yeah, that's kind of two stories for the Batman, just to keep you guys updated on everything that's going on, because I think that's one of the most exciting topics in the world of superheroes right now. Who's going to be the next Batman, and where is the direction that Warner Brothers is going in the future? And I'm sure we're going to get more news since Comic-Con is coming up. So just stay tuned, guys. And again, that's all for today. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell as well. And make sure to comment down below your thoughts. And again, check out that Fanime video. I think it's really interesting. Let us know if you have any questions or comments you want us to get to for our Sunday reading the comments video. I know we skipped it this past Sunday because of the anime convention, but we're getting back to it next Sunday. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you. Have a great day. Peace.